Well, good Saturday evening, everybody. Meteorologist Jake Lambright here with a quick update on what to expect as we go into next week. First and foremost, I want to start off with the Climate Prediction Center's 6 to 10 day temperature outlook running through the 24th and 28th of this month. You'll notice we finally see temperatures in Louisiana return to near average. Actually, this might be that 8 to 14 day outlook. I think the 6 to 10 keeps us a little cooler, so ignore those dates here. But a little bit beyond that 7 day forecast, we do see near normal conditions finally return, and this is going to be pretty close to the 1st of February, which the 28th is kind of close to. This is going to be a little more towards the end of the month. Now let's talk about the cold that's going to be coming in next week. Morning lows, according to the American model, will be in the mid 20s across a lot of Louisiana on Monday morning. We're going to kind of compare back and forth, and then at the end, I'll tell you what I'm forecasting and kind of what my thoughts are, at least for central Louisiana. So again, Monday morning lows, American model wants to put us pretty cold, but it's going to feel even colder than that outside. When you factor in the winds that will be blowing, wind chill values will likely be in the mid and upper teens across a lot of the state. So that's not just for my central Louisiana followers, that's also for my Arkla Miss and Arkla Tex followers. And even if you're following me along I-10, things are still going to be pretty cold. You'll see here the American model hinting at the potential for upper teens. Let's see what the European model has to think about this. Morning lows, still low and mid 20s across all of the state, no matter where you are. And those feels like temperatures also line up as well. You'll see those there in the mid and upper teens across all of Louisiana. So again, this is some pretty cold air that's moving in, and it's going to be important really to take those extra precautions, keep people, pets, plants inside, and expose or cover those exposed outdoor pipes and spigots now, as they will be or they will have the potential to freeze, as we're expected to really see those hard freeze conditions throughout a lot of this upcoming week. Let's take a look at Tuesday morning. American model here showing mid and upper 20s for most, and it's been a little more optimistic towards I-10, showing maybe some low and mid 30s. Wind chill values, though, still in the 20s along I-10, upper teens, low 20s there in central Louisiana, and maybe some teens across the Arklamis area. Now, again, this is just one model, so let's bring in the European, see what it thinks. Sees a lot more 20s, but mid and upper 20s, so looking a little bit better with some mid 30s found on the south shore of New Orleans. Those wind chills or feels like temperatures are generally in the mid and upper teens, with some lower 20s there along the south shore near New Orleans. Right now, and generally for the last week or so, I've been leaning a little more towards the European model, and it has been a little more aggressive and a little bit earlier on these trends than other models, but then eventually everything's starting to catch up temperature wise, and we're seeing the European model be a little more realistic, which is why I'm kind of leaning in towards that one a little bit more. Don't worry, we will get to the snow here in just a second, but let's talk about Wednesday and Thursday morning first. You'll see there the American model has temperatures generally lower in central Louisiana, in the upper teens and low 20s for air temperatures. Mid 20s can be found along I-10 and even the Arklamis area. Why is it highlighting central Louisiana colder than the rest of the state? Well, what happens when we have snow on the ground, and especially if we have clear skies overnight Tuesday into Wednesday, is it's going to be cloudy during the day Tuesday. We're going to have that snow falling. It's going to create a nice layer on the ground. Typically during the day when we have sunshine, that radiation is absorbed by the ground and then slowly re-emitted into the atmosphere at night. If we have cloud cover, it's a bonus because it helps to trap some of that heat and keep it closer to us at the ground with only a little bit of that heat escaping. What happens if we're clear out Tuesday night and we've got that layer of snow on the ground? Not only will the ground not be able to absorb what little heat we'll be getting because of that blanket of snow, but the very small amount of heat that we have will immediately go back into the atmosphere and temperatures will be cooler as a result. Feels like temperatures that morning also cooler in the central Louisiana area, looking at low to mid teens, with upper teens to low 20s found in the Arklamis and Arklatex. But the European model Wednesday morning also wants to keep the teens along I-10, kind of near Lake Charles, Baton Rouge, with mid 20s found on the South Shore. Thursday, or this is still Wednesday morning, wind chills there from the American model. Let's see. Wind chills or feels like temperatures from the American model there showing, again, mid teens, lower teens in central Louisiana, where it thinks the majority of that snow is going to fall, lower 20s along I-10, and mid teens there for the Arklamis area. Then the wind chills, the European model keeps those in the single digits where it keeps the heaviest of that snow. So it'd be Alexandria to Marksville south through I-10. It's keeping wind chills in the single digits on the North Shore and barely in the double digits on the South Shore. So this is certainly a more aggressive scenario, but it is certainly that's a something that is a possibility and a real threat. Teen single digits, we're still talking some very dangerously cold temperatures. Thursday morning, things look a little bit better. According to the American model, we've got some mid 20s across all of the state, lower 30s as you head towards the coast. Now, the wind chills, at least what the American model showing, still looking at low and mid 20s, but an improvement from what we could see Tuesday and Wednesday morning. The European model wants to have lows way cooler in the mid and upper teens in central Louisiana, mid 20s along I 20, so Shreveport, Monroe, and beyond, and then lower 20s along I 10, Lake Charles through Baton Rouge, with some lower 30s found on the South Shore. Wind chills Thursday morning. Again, European model keeping those on the cooler side in central Louisiana and close to I 10. Teens from Lake Charles to Baton Rouge, upper 20s on the South Shore, and then upper teens to low 20s I 20 as you head from Shreveport to Monroe. So, regardless of how these actually pan out as I fine tune that forecast a little bit more, we're still talking about some very cool temperatures. Now, before we get to snowfall totals, let me tell you where I stand in central Louisiana on the forecast for now. Sunday night into Monday morning, I think air temperatures will be in the lower 20s. Feels like temperatures will be in the teens. Same story, high temperatures in the low 40s on Monday. Overnight lows Monday night into Tuesday back in the mid 20s. Feels like temperatures could be in the teens once again, or likely will be in the teens. Then Tuesday, we've got the snow rolling in, or late Monday night into Tuesday, I should say. We got the snow moving in. Air temperatures may not get above freezing. I've got us in the low 30s around central Louisiana for now. Overnight lows fall into the mid teens. We start Wednesday in the mid teens. High temperatures make it just above freezing. And this is where things could get interesting, and we'll have to wait a little closer to see. One thing I'm worried about is while freezing rain and sleet isn't a big concern for now, I do see that snow starting to potentially melt and then refreeze at night. People are going to drive on that during the day. It's going to become a slushy mess and then refreeze at night. That's something I'm watching and a little concerned about. I'm going to be watching road conditions very closely. And as always, I'll keep you posted over on Facebook and other social media platforms as we're learning more about road conditions to help keep you safe. But that's something to watch because then, like I said, mid 30s for highs on Wednesday, overnight, we're back in the teens. So we start Thursday in the teens. Temperatures do warm up into the mid 40s, so more melting of that snow will occur then. Overnight lows fall back into the mid 20s, and we're back to near 50 for high temperatures on Friday. Well, what are the models showing when it comes to snow accumulation? Well, the American model here showing maybe 4 to 5 inches of snow near Alexandria, and those totals increase going south. Some of these are probably a little bit exaggerated. However, this does have the potential to be a historical snowfall event for some in south central Louisiana. So I'm not going to say that the chance of seeing 10 inches of snow is zero in Lafayette, but it is certainly a more aggressive number. We'll likely see something a little more dialed back near the 4 to 6 inch range with some isolated higher totals. As always, though, that forecast will continue to be fine tuned in the days to come, though, so make sure to stay tuned for that. Then, whenever it comes to snowfall accumulations through Wednesday morning, the European model keeping totals a little higher across Vernon, Voiles, Rapides Parish down to the south, or Beauregard, Allen, Evangeline, St. Landry, and also along I 10. The European model has been a little more consistent with where and who would see snowfall, as well as some of those totals. So that's something that I'm watching pretty closely as well. One of our models, specifically, the only short range model that we have for now, shows higher totals to the north, so that's something I'm watching. It would definitely increase confidence in a more historical snow event if we saw those totals verify. But once again, I'm waiting on our other shorter range, high resolution model to come in before I really try to fine tune those forecast totals. These things have certainly been looking interesting over the last few runs. I do want to see if I can get this to load in. It looks like it's not going to bear. Looks like it might not work for me. I was going to show you my personal snowfall forecast. It doesn't look like it wants to let me do that. And for those of you that are watching from central Louisiana, my KALB viewers, here's my snowfall forecast graphic, again, courtesy of KALB. You'll see right now I'm keeping the highest totals in our central and southern parishes, with the lower totals a little bit more to our north. This will be adjusted over the next few days, over Sunday and Monday. So definitely check back for more updates. But for now, that's kind of what I'm leaning towards around the region. Now, I talked a little bit fast in this. I apologize for that. Wanted to keep this very short and sweet so you could get the information in the least amount of time possible, and also so I could go ahead and get this update to you. Now, I tried to do a live earlier, and my internet just wasn't bearing with me. If you want to see more forecast updates like this on a more regular basis, please let me know. As always, I love to talk about the weather and wouldn't be opposed to doing this a little bit more in the future. While I am covering central Louisiana, during the afternoon and evening hours with KALB. I do go a little more in depth into the forecast every evening on KALB.com and on the KALB News app. So if you are a Central Louisiana viewer, you'll want that app so you can stay tuned to the latest. Obviously, I'll be updating you on Monday, and our team will update you on Tuesday and through the rest of the week as well. So thank you for joining me. And once again, I'll have more updates for you, especially on Facebook as needed. And maybe I'll post another video here on YouTube over the next day or so as new information becomes available. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in the next update.